Okay, so we've been looking at how DJs use loops to create their own original sounds. So this is like the backbone of hip hop. So back in the day, this would have been done by using records. So you can appreciate that as a DJ, what talent and how much practice it would take to actually create all these new sounds from existing loops in records. And I mean, and we talked about sort of the copyright issue of creating something out of something new out of something that's already existing, right? But that's sort of what the DJ did. And when you start getting into like if it was you get rid of the DJ and just have like original like drummers and stuff play along with the rapper, and then there's no place for the DJ, and the DJ is the one that started this. Now, luckily for us, we could potentially use UDJ to create whole new sounds out of just doing loops from existing sounds. Not UDJ isn't really great for that. There are other programs that probably are better for stuff like that. But we're lucky that there's a whole new sort of wide range of programs now that have pre-recorded loops that we can actually just take and remix together and create new sounds. And there's a whole bunch of them, but the one that we have access to is called Soundtrap. So you click on it here. There are way more sophisticated ones. This is a great introduction one, especially it works with Chrome. And we already have access to it through the DDSB. So you're going to click on Soundtrap. It's going to ask you to log in or sign up. You're going to log in because DDSB already has everybody. They've already purchased the program. So you already have an account with Soundtrap. So you're going to log in with obviously your Google credentials, and it's going to take you to a main page, and it's going to ask you to enter the studio. I'm not showing that because the internet's been really laggy today, so I don't want to torture you to watching that. It's going to then take you to this page where you have an option if you're going to make music or podcasts. We, of course, are going to make music. Soundtrap has a lot of options, but it is actually pretty easy to use. Only thing that we are focusing on right now is going to be loops. I want to start off by adding a new track. And so you can see there's a whole bunch of options here. We can make our own drum beats. We could actually record our voice. We could sing. We could play piano. We could use a synthesizer. There's lots of things that you could play around with. But the only thing that I want to focus on for this project is the loop library. So there are so many options here of pre-made loops. Like if we were using other programs, perhaps you would have to pay for all these different things. Maybe you could create your own. Soundtrap comes with them. We already have an account with them. So I'm going to pick something. So there's a lot of different options. There's tons and tons and tons and tons. There's different like genres. There's different there's so much. So what you want to do is I'm just going to actually, just for the sake of everything being really laggy right now, I'm just going to, I kind of already know what I'm looking for. Okay, if I want to pre-listen to it, I should be able to hit the play button and it just gives me an idea of what it sounds like. But the internet's been really laggy. I think it's because I'm using this, plus my son's on my class. There we go. So it gives me an idea of what it sounds like. If I like it, I'm actually going to take it, I'm going to drag it here. If I don't like it, it's not a big deal. Okay. Okay, that sounds like a cool beat for me. That's not too bad. If I put it on here and I decide that I don't like it, it's easy for me to get rid of. I just hover over here and there's 3 dots that come up, and actually I can delete the track. Now, so right now, the way that this is set up, so if I want to get rid of this loop thing, it's driving me crazy, I just hit that and it gets rid of that. I can zoom in and zoom out. But what I want to show you is this. We were talking about how music is in 4/4 time. So it's actually all set up here. It's this is like 1 bar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3. So it's all set up for me. This here, you can actually move it to the beginning, or I can hit the rewind. Okay, so let's have a listen to it. Okay, so as I can actually see, it's actually already in a phrase for me from 1 to 4. It's actually in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. So it's in phrases here, which is actually kind of cool. On the bottom here, it tells me what the tempo, the BPMs, the tempo is 120. I can change that, and I'll show you that later. If I want to have these loops go longer, if I want my song to be longer, easy. All I have to do is just extend it, and it will extend it all for me, which is kind of neat. So what's really cool about this program is if I want to add more loops in to kind of keep making this my own, this is my basic beat, whatever new loops I put in here, it automatically will adjust it to the 120 tempo. Okay, so let's add a new track. So I'm going to rewind it. Something that's annoying, this here, if that comes up, what that means, it's just going to keep replaying what's in here. If I just unclick it, it'll get rid of that, so it'll play everything that I have here if you find that frustrating. Let's add a new track. Again, I'm going to go to the loop library. So what could be kind of cool with this? I don't know. Let's see what this sounds like. Okay, that's kind of cool. So I'm going to drag this, and this is going to be my second one. So that's kind of cool. But what I want to do, I'm going to get rid of that loop thing, is remember we talked about how phrasing, how things sort of like, when new things sort of begin, it comes in the beginning of a new phrase. So what I'm going to do, instead of maybe having this start off right in the beginning, maybe I'm going to have it start on bar 5 right here. So because that's the beginning of the second phrase. So I just have to slide it over, which is kind of cool. Okay, I can extend it to make it the same length. Okay, let's listen to the beginning now. Cool. So automatically you can see when I put this in, it changed the tempo to that, so everything matches, right? So it's kind of neat. I'm going to add, just to make it funky, loop library. You can keep adding layers and layers and layers. I'm just going to, add a scratch to it just to see. Let me see what this sounds like here. Okay, that's kind of cool. The battle scratch. I'm going to take this. I'm just going to add a new thing. I'm going to stick it there. Okay. Now, I'm going to move this over just a little bit, because again, I want everything to sort of start on this phrase. Let's just have a listen here, see how it sounds. Okay, which is kind of cool. I'm going to hide that. But what I want to do, I'm going to do something kind of neat with this, because I like that idea of the scratch, but I don't want it to keep taking all of this. I want to kind of make it a little bit more rhythmic. So what I can do is actually I can splice any loop track that they're giving me. So when I hover over top of this, in theory, I should be able to actually make it smaller. So now that's only 4 beats, but actually what I want to do, if I go closer, I actually just want to like maybe make it 1 bar. Let me see what that sounds like now. Okay, that's kind of cool. I like the idea that it's just like that kind of sound. So I'm going to actually highlight it, Control C for copy, Control V for paste, but I've got to make sure whenever I have any like new beats that they come, I want it in the beginning because that's the downbeat, right? So I'm going to put it there. So let me show you what that sounds like now. So this is just, again, you're just playing around with sounds. So I like that. I'm going to keep doing that for the rest of the song. So the beginning of the downbeat and every other bar, I'm going to have that. Okay, so it's kind of consistent. Now what's kind of neat though, I spliced this and got rid of the other stuff, but if I can actually always bring that back if I needed to, it's still all there. So let's just start from here. Oh, I want to get rid of that. That thing is a pain in the butt. Okay, so let me rewind it from the beginning. Let's have a listen now. Not bad. There's voices, there's more things. I mean, I can keep layering it until like I have lots of layers that I really like, and I really like the sound. Okay, so you're going to keep experimenting with that. You can see I don't have it too long. I just am playing around with it just to come up with a neat sound. Now, one more thing that I want to show you is it's kind of mellow right now, which is kind of cool. If I wanted to, I could make this whole thing faster or slower. So we're at 120 right now. Let me see if I changed it. 140 is going to be pretty fast. Let's try it. So say I want it to be faster, and the metronome, which is that beat, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let me try that and see how it sounds. I'm going to hit confirm. And then it's going to ask me if I want to adjust the data. And I do, because I want everything to sort of all still stay on the same downbeats, and I want them all to be the same tempo. So I'm going to say adjust. Now it takes a second, but what it's going to do, it's going to take my whole entire thing and it's going to make it faster. I'm going to hit rewind. Let's hear the difference. I actually like that better. So if I wanted to, I could go down to 80. I can make it slower, whatever I want to do. So you're going to experiment, because there's a lot of choices here, and just get used to the program and come up with some cool stuff. So I'm going to call this here my loop. My loops. Let's try that. And I want to save it. So it'll save it. And it's going to take a while. So I want you to experiment with that. Now, when that's done saving, let's see. Okay, I do want to show you, because I want you to hand in an audio file for me, okay? So it saves it, but when it's saving it here, it's actually saving it as a Soundtrap file, because what I can do now that I have it saved, so if you are like halfway done and you want to come back and add more to it, you can still go back anytime. It's saving it in this format as a Soundtrap file. So it's not saving it the way that necessarily I want to hand it in. So it doesn't save it as an MP3 file when I'm doing this. So I'm going to show you how we're going to do that eventually. Okay, I'm going to stop the video and come back and show you how to hand it in.